OBS. Okay, I'll make a new one. Okay, do I have an image? I think I had a hand hider before, but I don't have one anymore. God damn it. God damn it. They get to see my hand anyways. Okay, I will not bother with it for now. This is much more embarrassing than just getting ghosted. Okay, let's not worry about it. If they ghost me, then so be it. They are the good text in prop deck anyways. I should have this set up just like a handful of brainstorms or something, because that's my favorite card. Now I wrecked my layout with moving this stuff around and resizing it for no reason. And at the same time I still failed to hide my hand. That was pretty bad. Okay, so they can't combo me unless they have days. With Core Skyfisher on the board. Because they need 3 mana to spend on their combo, and then they need 1 mana for protection. How's the matchup? I think it's favorable, but I know that MJ disagrees. He was the godfather of Tribe, so I think it's like slightly favorable. If they play the old the non-transformational sideboard where they try to protect their combo, it's super favorable. It's basically unlosable. If they play the transformational sideboard, it's pretty close and still pretty scary. This is not good for me. This is actually not that good for me. Guess I'll have to do this and then try to... Because I don't have enough interaction here. If my opponent has like Inside Out and Dispel, they can just kill me. I guess they need Gush to go with it as well, because it lowers their hand count a little bit. Okay. Guess this is alright. Now I'm back to 2 blockers. They can still kill me with the perfect hand, but it's much more difficult for them to do so, because they need Inside Out, Shadow Rift, an extra land, a Gush, and a Dispel. It's a lot of cards. Oh no, never mind. I had this instead of Prism. I was like, I have to cycle this, but I had no white mana available to me at end of turn, so it was alright. Yeah, I really would like to have a second piece of interaction here. Otherwise, we're just sitting around until my opponent finds enough counter magic to kill me, or like a Giga Draws to kill me. Becoming the Monarch is alright to make it so that my opponent is under more pressure, because they need to make some progress before I draw into more answers, but it's difficult for me to put it down at the moment. Brainstorm, sure. So like second Bolt or Galvanic Blast would be amazing. Is only relevant for the 4-mana creature that excites another. Oh yeah. Being the Monarch, there's nothing in Pauper that really cares about being the Monarch, except that you win the game if you are. But yeah, there's nothing that like triggers off of the Monarch or something. Yeah, they also get Hex and Probe me on turn 1, so it's easier to have faith in humanity if it matters very little. But yeah, in these types of turns, it starts mattering quite a lot. whether my opponent knows or not. I think I cycle this main phase. They don't have enough blue mana open for me to worry about. Nice, this faceless looting is insane. To worry about Giga Draws. This faithless looting, like every faithless looting, is insane. Maybe I should even discard the Reaping the Graves over the extra land. Yeah, I think the extra land was more useful to me. Can start attacking now that I got one of the tribes off of the board. Yeah, don't tell them that. But yeah, I think it's alright. Maybe in the finals or something I will start hiding, but I do have some faith in humanity, but there's definitely people in this community where I know I have to hide my hand, and then I'll have to come up with something with the logistics. I think I let them attack with 2 answers, yeah. Another tribe, sure. Okay, I think it's Monarch time. Okay, drew the land anyways. They can circular logic my Monarch dude, but sure. Then I can Reaping the Graves it back at end of turn or something. Yeah. And that reduces their hand size, makes it more difficult for them to come up with a kill. Basically, I'm only under pressure from Giga Draws. Against like natural combo attempts, I should be alright. Double Gush is a little dangerous because my opponent can come up with enough material to win, but mostly it's just Giga Draws. And I don't currently have a hand that is well set up to play around it. Because like sitting here doing nothing is still kind of favorable for my opponent. So I need to gem this Monarch dude every turn. And that taps me down too low, so that Giga Draws is a concern. Dispel? I mean, sure. Days, sure. Okay, that's interesting to know that there's days. Especially it's very interesting to know because the Micah Jacob version doesn't play any days. So that makes it more likely that he's on the Hellotech, like Apostle's Blessing and Standard Bearers in the sideboard version, and that version is like close to unlosable for me. In the post-board games at least, because they have huge trouble ever beating a Serrated Arrows. So that would make things a lot better for me. Second Flyer was also nice, because now I can keep the... No, they found a Giga Draws? Oh, just an Inside Out, sure. Prismatic Strands would be great for me. More bolts is always useful, because that means my opponent needs more answers to my bolts. And yeah, days means old list most likely, unless they have made like their own hybrid where they have 1 days and then the transformational sideboard with days. But yeah, old list should be helpful to me because old list has huge trouble beating Serrated Arrows. Yeah. They need Giga Draws and Gush. That's like the only cards that really help them. Circular Logic is decent at keeping board parity. I guess like more answers naturally is also good for them. Like more Dispels and Circular Logics, those help for sure. That's pretty decent. It's pretty close between putting... Yeah, I should put... No, I should have attacked here and then used Alchemist Vial. So that only one of their tribes can attack, so then 1 blocker for me is enough. because that puts them down to 12, so these 3 are lethal together. I mean, they still have circular logic in their hand for sure, so it's not impossible for them to stop the lethal, but yeah, I think the extra attack was alright, and now I'm putting myself in risk. Yeah, this one should have attacked. Still, yeah, especially if I put them to 12, I can put them to 8 next turn, and then they can counter one of these, but the other 2 win. That's not bad. I will do that play this turn, though it's a lot less good than it was the previous turn. If they circular logic this, it's pretty decent for me, I think. Yeah, once again, it's pretty tough for me to lose without my opponent having Giga Draws. I'll cash in the Via so that 1 blocker is enough. They do have a ton of mana though, so protecting their combo is something that could definitely be possible. But yeah, without an extra gush, it's super difficult for them to come up with enough cards for the combo. What the hell? I guess they want to inside out to get rid of my Thraben Inspector. Sure, I think I will decline the block then. I can inside out their Augur now to get extra damage in, but I think I'm fine with that as well. Yeah, I'm not sure. My camera is just not the greatest, but yeah, I'll see what I can do. Okay, that's pretty great. There's definitely some stuff I have to work on. Also, my lighting isn't optimal. I'll see if I can get like better lights and a green screen to work with. But yeah, thank you for the for the kind words, and glad that you enjoy it. So now we have all the lethal stuff in the world here, but I can just sit here and wait for my opponent to pull the trigger, because I don't think they can fight against 4 burn spells while also setting up a kill. So then I can just attack them down to 2 and do the burn spell fight next turn. How many counters did they play? They play 7 usually. And I guess with the dazed version they technically play 8, because there's a daze in it, but it's also the turn where they would have to Giga Draws me, and then if they Giga Draws, I just kill them that turn, because all of their blue mana step out. So they used 2 Circular Logics already. So they have 4 Circular Logic and 3 Dispels usually, and then 1 Daze. So there's 5 counters left. But their hand size is pretty low. Unless they have multiple Gushes left in their hand, it becomes difficult for them to hold on to their counters while also threatening a kill here. Oh, they do have a Gush. Hate to see that. I guess I still have to let them go for it. I mean, it's not impossible for me to lose here. That's the sick part. Though I think some of that is because I failed to attack with the Glinthawk a turn earlier, and also I could have held the Glinthawk back this turn. So I think my attacking may have been a little bit misled in multiple spots. Okay, they're discarding, discarding, discarding. Yeah, if they just have like 3 counters here, I'm screwed. So is this enough discard? I assume so. Yeah. So if out of the 4 cards in the hand, 3 of them are counters, I'm just dead. Wait. Oh yeah. And I guess I need 4 counters, because I can just try killing the tribe instead of trying to kill them. If I try to kill them, they can let 1 resolve, and if I target their tribe with all 4 of these, they have to counter every single one. So that's just way better, because I'm going to win the game after the tribe dies, regardless of whether they, like, I don't need to burn them out this turn. Yeah, if I burn their face, they can let 1 resolve to counter 3, and here they need 4 counters. Still possible, but very unlikely that they have 4 counters. Extra gush. So 3 cards in their hand, they have to all 3 be counters. If I let this resolve, they get 2 more cards, but yeah, I guess it's just strictly better to respond, because then all 3 of their cards have to be counters, and they still have to find one off of the... Okay. Yeah, that's 2. Yes! This matchup pre-board is so scary. Okay, so I guess if they have days, I'm going to board like they're the all-in version and not the MJ version. We discussed this a little bit earlier, but like these 6 cards are coming in every time. And then against the MJ version, I want Relic of Progenitus, Core Sanctifier, and against the all-in version, I want Standard Bearer, Electricary. So this is where we have to decide. And like Reaping the Graves comes out here, Prismatic Strands come out here, and here I would board out like Electricity would come out here for these, and then I don't know what else, maybe like Journeys. I think Journeys come out there as well. No, I guess I do need them, but like Leave No Trace is pretty bad for me whenever it happens. Oh yeah, I boarded out Glintalks against MJ's version, but they're pretty good against the combo version because they also synergize well with the Serrated Arrows. Yeah, that makes sense that I like bank on them being the combo version, and then if they transformational sideboard me game 2, then I can still adapt to that for game 3. So this is like the I'm never getting combo killed setup. I still need to take some cards out though. I still think I want the Relic of Progenitus because it deals with circular logic regardless. Probably this many Electricities is just way too much regardless. Even against the all-in version, I want a little bit fewer of them. Can maybe still cut the Glintalks, but having blockers is pretty nice. Also, I do need some win condition. Other than them just giving up. Otherwise, they just counter all of my threats and win. Maybe I can do this and keep like the Zens Enlistment in my deck or something, but it's super slow as a win condition. Okay. This way I run into trouble if they are transforming into Spiral Golems, but we'll see. The days indicates that they likely aren't. Sounds super weird, because I do have early answers, but I'm super flooded. Did I keep all my Faithless Lootings in? Yeah, once again, want to draw those more than anything else. I think I'll keep it, but it can very easily backfire if I draw more lands. Okay, that's nice. That is real nice. Brainstorm. Oh no, there we are already in their turn. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I was like, why would they brainstorm end of turn? But they were just f6 and already in their main phase. Okay, so against combo version, this is super good. Against Spire Golem, it's just embarrassingly bad, because they were just serrated arrows this down at some point, and it doesn't even matter all that much to begin with. Combo version needs to find like a gut shot or something to deal with it. I think I don't want to bounce land yet. I would rather have more different red sources on the board rather than bounce one of my red sources to put a double red, like a double land that produces red as well. So like the total amount of red I have available is 3 here, and if I bounce a mountain or a Windscarred Crag to my hand with Garrison, then I am at 2. So for like highly interactive matchups where you want to keep multiple pieces of interaction open, it can be better to slightly slow roll your bounce lands. Then next turn I can probably afford to bounce the mountain with my Garrison. Though getting life gain up to 22 is actually pretty nice, because they can deal 21 damage with the combo by discarding 5 cards, and then 22 life makes it so they have to discard an extra card. They cannot Giga Jaws me, I think. I guess they can. I guess they can Giga Jaws me if they target the standard bearer with the original, and the other copies can target other stuff. Right? I think that's how it works. So I have to be a little bit aware of that, but they still have to find an answer to standard bearer and all the combo pieces and a way to get through my... I guess then they no longer need a way to get through my given class. That's a bad sign, because that means it's much more likely they're on the MJ plan. I guess it resolves, not a lot of point in trying to counter it, but yeah, that's a bad sign, because that is one of the cards that I think MJ had and no other lists really had it. I do have like an answer to Spire Golem and some good answers to Stormbound Geist already in my hand, so I might not be completely screwed against the transformational version. But then like the standard bearer is already a huge liability. I think I want double Pyroblast open so I have a better chance of stopping their Stormbound Geists. And then next turn I'll Sky for sure. Yeah, getting game 1 is huge for sure. Being down on time is also once again not that great. But yeah, getting game 1, first of all, being up 1-0 and then only having to win one of the 2 post-board games is good in general, but also being able to scout out my opponent's sideboard plan in game 2 and then adapting to what they're doing in game 3 was a huge improvement. Okay, then they're discarding to hand size. Maybe not if they have multiple spells to play, but still, sure. My Pyroblast can probably do better things. Fight against Circular Logic and Stormbound Geist. They should try to counter this if they have the capabilities of doing so. I'm not certain if I want to fight back. Probably do. I guess I could have played my land so they can't just Circular Logic me. But tapping out for Circular Logic was also pretty risky, because then I would have had 4 mana available against their Circular Logic for 4, so they would need to discard another card. Yeah, I think I'm willing to Pyroblast that. Not sure. Because if they dispel, then we're going down this road where I have to expend all of my Power Blasts and my opponent can slam Stormbound Geist, and I'm in kind of an awkward spot. Also, I don't want to tap down too low on my own turn to open up combo potential for my opponent. Okay, that seemed to have happened. That's nice. It makes it easier for me to start going on the aggressive. Still think I want multiple pieces of interaction open rather than Prism. There's no point in attacking now, both because I need multiple favorable blockers to their tribe so they don't just free roll attack into my board, and like if I have to block with a standard bear or something, that's bad for me. But if they can combo me without needing to Shadow Rift, that's also bad for me. Okay, they got a Brainstorm with Shuffle, that's pretty great for them. Yep. They get to ghost me legally. Goddamn Gitaxian probes. Still very difficult for them to beat the standard bearer without serrated arrows in their deck, which I'm still uncertain whether they have it or not. Not bad. Barely legal, yeah. I mean, it should not be legal, but it currently still is. I mean, in Pauper it's probably fine, but I would prefer for it not to be legal in Legacy either. Like Deathratch, Charm, and Gitaxian Probe are definitely on top of the list of cards that could go without anyone really being sad about it. Yeah, I'm not really sure what my opponent's up to, but they did successfully build up their land count to make a big counter war and a big Giga Draws possible for themselves. And I still haven't come up with a serrated arrows of my own, which is the big game breaker against these tireless types. So I guess having a standard bearer on the board against the all-in combo version is also a game breaker. I don't really think I ever need Metalcraft on this all too badly. There's my arrows. There's my arrows. Kind of want to run out this guy for sure because my opponent might get baited by it and try countering it. They did not. Can start attacking with these now because I still have two favorable blockers open. And then they have to discard. Sure. They have to discard a card to get it off of the board. I think that's fine with me. And if they trade a tribe for it, that's also fine for me for obvious reasons. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay. They discarded Island, sure. But like, it doesn't even matter if the card that I'm getting out of their hand is good or not. It just matters that the total amount of cards that they have in hand is getting reduced, and then they need more and more gushes to even be able to combo at all. Yeah. Still afraid of committing this much mana to the board. Inside out my... Yeah, they have to target my standard bearer. Okay. Like, I don't really want to tap out for the serrated arrows into my opponent's circular logic. Best case, I would find a Relic of Progenitors or my Bojuka Bog, because then I could clear out their graveyard and this would almost certainly resolve. Like, Bojuka Bog is probably the dream card to draw right now. And I guess Faceless Looting is always best card in the deck. Nice. Because like Bojuka Bog, I can clear out their graveyard, but without it being vulnerable to counter spells when I'm trying to clear the graveyard. And then after the graveyard is gone, I can resolve these arrows. Yes! There we go, that's what I'm talking about. These. Am I willing to run out this land? Because I kind of do want to discard it to Faithless Looting, but I also want to make some more land drops so I can have more interaction open here. So dumb how scary this matchup is. Like, I have pretty much everything. Ah, no, getting Giga Drost? No. No, I don't want to die. Because that taps both my blockers and my lands so bad. Yeah, I did spend a lot of resources here on my own main phase and allowed my opponent to do that. They have to tap this, then they have... Yeah, it's pretty scary. They might just be trying to bait me into not attacking, but I think it's actually correct for me not to attack with this much of my mana being tapped. Yeah, there's Giga Draws. That is bad for me. They still need an answer for the Standard Bearer for me to be able to be comboed out, but... What? Okay, they're tapping my... Yeah. Flyer, flyer. Flyer, flyer. Land, land, land. Okay, so this, and this. Huh, then I still have blockers open. So they need an answer to my Standard Bearer, a Shadow Rift, Inside Out, a Gush to have enough hand size, and then a counter for my last interactive card. Still seems very difficult to do. It is not impossible, and they committed to the Giga Draws now, so if there's a turn where they can do it, it's now. Okay, so I think I'll overload Electricity here, because either they have to discard 1 or 2 cards to keep these alive, or they have to counter it. And then if they counter, I can counter back. And I want to spend as much of this red mana trading cards with my opponent as I can. Because I will only have 1 red mana available on my opponent's turn to cast a single bolt or... yeah. They only have 1 blue open to counter back, but I guess they can now discard the 2 islands. That's still pretty expensive. Just gets a random card out of their hand. I don't know. Maybe I should have tried to Pyroblast the Gush, but it was pretty obvious that my opponent had like counter backup left open, otherwise they would have Giga Drawsed for 1 more. They even left me with a land instead of Giga Drawsing for 1 more, so... Ah man, I hope I don't die to the combo with serrated arrows in my hand. That would be awful. More Gush. Yeah, then my opponent definitely has the hand size they need to combo. Now they just need to come up with an answer to Standard Bearer and I'm pretty much dead. Maybe I should have once again tried to counter the gush instead of letting this happen. Yeah, okay, that is not an answer. Yeah, they're desperately trying to make usage of the turn that they have before I get to untap serrated arrows, and then their window of opportunity closes forever. So scary. Come on. Yeah, I guess they need gut shot exactly, because for everything else they don't have the mana anymore. Their combo costs 3 mana, Inside Out and Shadow Rift to get through my Thraben Specters, and then they need 1 more mana open to Circular Logic or Dispel to get through my Pyroblast or Lightning Bolt. So Gut Shot is the only answer to Standard Bearer that they have left. I think even Piracy Charm doesn't work for them. No! Okay, that works, I guess. Do they still have a land drop? I guess if they have a land drop it works, and if they don't, then it doesn't. Or my opponent might have the Daze, then I also can die. That's unfortunate, because they switched power and toughness on it already, so if it becomes 0 power it dies, because it's 0 toughness after the switch. Yeah, if I die to Daze here, that's also unfortunate. So they need their 3rd Inside Out and their 2nd Shadow Rift, I think, from what they cast so far. But they saw like pretty much all of their deck. Yes! No attacks is what I want to see. No attacks is exactly what I want to see. And I think it's just game over. Because if they didn't have it this turn, they are never going to have it anymore. Yeah, they need to Circular Logic, I Pyroblast, they have to Dispel. Then I'm threatening to kill them, and they still need to come up with exactly the same combo that they failed to come up with this turn. It's not Hydroblast, yeah. It's pretty good. I guess I should have done this post-combat, so I get the Thraben Spectre attack in instead of not getting the Thraben Spectre attack in. I think I'll actually looting as well. This seems wasteful because I most likely keep the 2 Pyroblasts. No! I should have Faithless Lootings first. That was so dumb. Because then the arrows just resolve through the Circular Logic. I discussed that earlier. God. Okay. Fail play. If I Bojuka block their graveyard away, then Circular Logic doesn't counter anything, and I resolve arrows, GG. Yeah, I think now I'm holding on to the bolt. The reason that I wanted to looting now, even though most likely I just discard the 2 cards that I'm drawing into, was because I have Prismatic Strand still in my deck. And then it would have been a card that I can dump into the graveyard and still have an extra piece of protection here. How many logics? I think only one. No, I have to check. I have no idea. There's 1 here. 2. They have 2 more logics. No, I can die here. Oh my god, I punted this by not drawing into the Bojuka box first. No. I had like all of it. 5. I had 5 left over, and if I Faithless Looting first, I have 4 left over. They can discard much of their hand to still counter it, but then much of their hand is gone, so they just need like double Dispel or Dispel Hydroblast or something here, and they just lose. I think I'm dead. Still feel favored in the 3rd game if this is actually my opponent's setup, where they're all in on the combo and can't beat arrows, resolved arrows, I mean. But man, if I had just drawn the Bojuka bug, I think it was GG. Damn, that's so dumb. Not happy with how I played today. 21 is not gonna do it though. Hope my opponent overlooks that fact. Because 21 is usually what does it, but I'm at 23. No, they noticed. Okay, let's try and bolt. It's very easy for them to just have 2 counters for my 2 spells here. Yeah. That's so dumb. Yeah, I couldn't Bujuka block them because then I have 1 less bolt. So this circular logic doesn't matter. Like, I couldn't get rid of this circular logic and still have double bolt. But yeah, I could have set it up so that the serrated arrows resolves, most likely. Oh, god damn it. Guess these are coming in as well. Sure. Gush is a hell of a magic card for sure. Ah, man. But yeah, deserved this one. It's like the second game today that I threw. I'm not happy with how I played. Yeah. I mean, there were some games where I was super happy with how I played, but also some spots where I felt like I should have won and I didn't. Yeah, it should still be difficult for my opponent to win against arrows, especially when I'm on the play. Okay, let's go. Also need to not time out. Okay, very reasonable hand. Have my nice little win button. Have some cycling to go with my sky for sure. Some interaction so I don't get comboed too early. Pretty much anything I can ask for. Another red source is like the one thing that's missing, but other than that, pretty perfect. Yeah, they probed me. They know what's going on. Now they really have to shape the game in a way where they get tribe on the board quickly so that they can support circular logic. Otherwise they have to keep 3 mana open for circular logic every turn. And that is pretty painful. Plains search up but played island. Makes a lot of sense if they don't have tribe yet or don't want to play it yet. Okay, there's the extra red source, though I don't think I have to play it yet because I would show my opponent that I have it in hand when they know the rest of my hand. Augur, that would be nice for me. Oh, inside out. Sure. It's also nice for me. I guess they can have the days. I don't think I'm playing around the one-off days. So they can't circular logic here. None of their 1-mana counters deal with this, Dispel or Hydroblast, and then they need need exactly the 1 days. If I had an extra land in hand, then it would be a consideration to play around it, but here I think it's just I can lose. They countered my arrows with the 1 card left in their deck that still deals with it. They seem to be pretty desperate still. Haven't found a tribe yet, apparently. And as long as there's no tribe on the board, I can freely tap out every turn. And keep beating them down. Yeah, I guess my hand is so good at being reactive that I should have trouble losing. Especially if there's no tribe yet. I don't even a little bit ahead on time, though not by much. What a match! What a match! It's just so stressful to be able to die pretty much every time, every turn. It's never impossible for them to win. Even when I had like standard where multiple blockers, so much mana open, so much interaction, they could still Giga Draws and Dizzy Spell me and get their last game as we saw, so always scary. Yeah, now the Alchemist Vial should also be enough, because even if Tribe comes down, I have 2 turns where the Tribe can't attack me, so that is already 4 damage in the air. Yeah, I'm definitely beating down and trying to finish out this game quickly. Yeah. Wonder if Gitaxian Probe makes them concede. I guess we won't find out until they draw one. Oops, no, that's not what I wanted. Okay, there we go. I wanted to bounce it, and I quickly clicked on it, and then it cycles through all of my Ancient Dams and taps them all. Not that the white mana here really makes any kind of difference, but still. That worked? What? What the hell? Tap all the dams. Very surprised that worked. Okay, they got a full brainstorm. They still need to come up with the tribe here, and even then, it's still difficult for them. Wow. Pretty unlucky by my opponent to not have found a tribe yet. With this much card selection. Unless they had a tribe but still wanted more backup. But yeah, they just don't have a tribe. That's insane. I mean, I have a setup that could beat one, but still pretty insane. Because now it looks like they will just die to flyers before they can even beat the Alchemist Vial. They need Giga Draws to tap down both Alchemist Vials for a turn to get through them. And I can just start a counter fight by trying to kill them. Wow, still no tribe. Insane. Yeah, it's a good Sky for sure. I agree. Decent Sky for sure. The good old 20 damage Sky for sure. Sure. Bolt his face. I will eventually. Not yet. Sure. Because there needs to be Giga Draws, otherwise my opponent can't win. And on the turn that my opponent tries to Giga Draws me, their blue mana is tapped down, and then I can bolt them. Because otherwise these Alchemist Vials already stop the combo. And Giga Draws is the only countermeasure against them. There's Apostle's Blessing. They can give protection from artifacts, but target player discards a card. Okay, I'll discard this Prismatic Strength, I think. I mean, they're discarding to hand size, which is why they used their Piracy Charm for an otherwise pretty irrelevant mode. Bojuka Box also pretty decent. Yeah, I'm very willing to attack here because without Giga Draws they don't really get through these Alchemist Vials, so I don't really need blockers. Wait, I resized this by accident. Okay, there we go. Oh, whatever. Okay, no attacking for you. Now there needs to be Giga Draws just so that they don't die to the Skyfisher. So same kind of deal. Okay, I guess I'll cast this pre-combat. They don't have enough cards in the graveyard for me to be beaten by circular logic. There's the Giga Draws that they needed. Replicate 2, sure. Or replicate 1, I guess my blocker and the Alchemist Vial. Yeah. I mean, that was exactly the card that they needed, but they still need to deal with this journey. Unless they have Leaf Node Trace. Gush in response, sure. But with Leaf Node Trace, they also destroy their own journey, so I get a Core Skyfisher back as a blocker. Looks a little bit like I'm just playing with my food, but my opponent still has 3 counter mana open for my 3 lethal burn spells, so I need to make them commit to this journey to nowhere first, and then after they did, I can kill them very easily here. They're trying to build up a graveyard for circular logic, I guess, but that's also pretty hopeless. Oh, repeal. They could have repealed the journey. That actually seems better from my perspective. I mean, they could have just let this journey resolve and then tried to repeal it at end of turn. I'm not sure why my opponent went for this circular logic at all. But yeah, now I just win. Feels good, man. That's a proper sack. I can block my hand for the next round. I'll see who I play against. I'll come up with something. Nice one.